Hi, it's Jenny. Welcome to Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. And you can find us on YouTube at Joey143Jenny. So, this is another part of making the envelope junk journal. And I just wanted to show you what I've done a little bit with it. I'm going to make a little kind of like a specimen slide, sort of, with a pocket. And I'm going to use a page, some pictures out of a floral book. So this is one of my favorite books. It was a treat to myself. I purchased it. I believe I got it on Amazon. And then I purchased it to actually be able to cut out pictures. So yeah, so that's why it's kind of pulled apart a little bit. I love it. Like I said, it was a treat to myself, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to do stuff like that. You don't have to buy that book. That was just a little gift to myself. But I have a couple of these kinds of books, these garden books, and I got these at thrift stores. And you can see they have absolutely beautiful pictures, and you can easily use those to cut out and put in your journals. So I've used several of these in my garden journal. I'll cut out pictures of the flowers I'm growing in my garden. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that. Also, we talked earlier about waiting for the catalogs that come in the mail in the springtime. Usually in February you start to get, I get mine usually from Breck's, and they'll have all kinds of flowers that you can cut out, and I like to use the whole catalog actually. So I just want to show you real quick what I've done in the meanwhile. So if you remember, this is what the page looked like. I needed to hinge a few things. I did add an old price tag here to help mend that seam there that was that rip right here. And then what I did was I took this envelope that's on the inside and I folded it in half just to make this window double-sided, and I used one of the pictures out of the book I treated myself to, and the other one is out of the book that I got from the thrift store. And then I put a pocket here. In this pocket, eventually I'll have a little journaling card that'll slide in there and be a nice surprise to write on. But I wanted to show you how I did this. So basically, here's a similar envelope, and what I did was I just folded this in half like that, and I measured kind of where I wanted to have this insert, this flower insert. I save every little piece of this book and the scraps because I'll use those. Gosh, I could even use those in another window envelope, or I could use that as a hinge. So I'll save that. So I am going to trim this down just a little bit more, just so that it folds nice. All right, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's okay. And let's see what that looks like on that side. Yeah, I think it looks all right. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this off. Can I trim it off straight? Try to. And I'll trim this one off too. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my circle punch, and on this side of the envelope I'm just going to put kind of like a little thumb hole here. I can get it to punch, and I'm going to use that just to indicate that, and kind of remind myself that there's a pocket here that didn't trim out very nice. So I'm going to just cut it real quick. If you don't have a paper punch like that or a hole punch like that, I've actually used the bottom of this and traced to half a circle and just made a smaller one. So you could do that. You don't have to have fancy stuff. Not that that's fancy, but I had that from doing some parties. I made some circle garland, and it really comes in handy when you're doing any type of journaling stuff, you know, all that stuff. And then I'm just going to use, let's see, what is this? Distress Oxide. This is Vintage Photo. You can see I keep putting my dauber there, so it's kind of blacked it out a little bit, but I'm just going to use that just to kind of make a little demarcation here of where this page is. So, all right, and then, all right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And the only reason I'm using this glitter glue is because it's plastic here. You know, there's a little bit of plastic, and I just want it to grip. And that art glitter glue is really good at gripping like that. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm just going to run a little bead along here, all the way around. And then one thing that I try to do, we'll see how it goes, but one thing I try to do is I try to kind of squish it out. And then I'm also going to put, so I've got a little bead here. I'm going to make this a pocket like I did with the other one. And got a little something stuck there. Well, I'm going to make a little pocket there, so I just want to put a little bead of glue here to close that up. All right. Let's see how it works. Okay, and then I'm going to push this away from the cellophane, that window in the envelope. There is, you can see a little glue came through here. It does dry clear, but I do try to avoid as much as I can getting glue there. So I try to push it away from the seam like that. Okay, so then there's another one. So we could use that a little later if we wanted to. But I wanted to show you how to do that, so I'm going to put that aside. So another thing is that I wanted to do, and I think I mentioned it to you, I believe in the first video, is I kind of wanted to hinge a little bit and reinforce. So we did hinge this one and reinforced it, and we hinged on this side. And so what I want to do, if I can find a piece of paper here, is I want to hinge this. I want to hinge and reinforce this inside right here. It's very fragile. Let's see, this envelope is from 1965. Get my head right in the way. But I want to hinge that. So I found this blue that I thought might go pretty good. And I think what I'm going to do is just cut it right here. I like to rip it if it'll rip. It's against the grain on this one. There we go. And then I think I only am going to need maybe 3/4 of an inch. So I'll rip it right down that way. And then again, and that's not straight. Let's see, this side must not have been, let's try the other side. This side must not have been on the grain. So let me tear along this side real quick. Doesn't have to be straight, but I'm going to have enough wonkiness without it being, you know, super obvious. So I'm going to just trim that a little bit so it'll be a little bit straighter. Okay, there we go. All right. And And then this will kind of straighten out as I glue it. Okay, so I'm just going to take my glue stick and I'm going to have a nice line right down there. And then I think I'm just going to put a nice little line. Let's see, where does that? It's about like that thick. Just to kind of reinforce. And I see that there's a little bit of glue glob there. All right. Okay, now let's see if I can get this nice and straightened out. Yep. Sometimes fabric will do this. Other times it just tears and it lays very flat on its own. But if it's not 100% cotton and it may have a blend in it, it'll give you a little stretchy, which is what causes that to kind of buckle like that. You've probably noticed that if you sew. I like to tear my fabric to get it right on the grain. And so sometimes if it's not 100% cotton, it'll give it a roll like that. Okay. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to cut this tail off. So there's a little reinforcement. Now I did have some paper somewhere that I was going to reinforce the other side. But I got in here and I started playing with, oh, here they are. I started playing with things and, where's the other one? There it is. So things got a little bit moved around. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to reinforce this part. I just think that, I don't know, it's going to sound goofy, but I love natural tears like that. So I want to preserve that in this old envelope. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it so that you can just see the blue. I'm just going to mend it a little bit so you can see the blue. But what I also want to do is I want to glue the back. So I want to just put some glue stick on the two of these. I'm just going to sandwich them back to back like that. Okay. And then what I want to do is move this out of the way here. I want to glue along here delicately. Okay. And then what I'm trying to do is get it to where it's just right at the edge so that it doesn't affect the fold. Okay. And now what I'll do is I'll go back in and I'll just use this art glitter glue to help with the rest of that. Make sure I have it down well. Okay, so you know, there's not like, oh, what did she do? What is that? You just play. It's basically you just play. You see things that you like and you emphasize or preserve. You know, you may not have that type of a thing on yours, or maybe you want to cut it off. I don't know. I just liked it a lot, and so I wanted to keep it. Now, what am I going to do with the rest of that? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that edge like that. But I'll do something. I don't know what, but I'm going to do something, and it'll be really fun, you know, because it it challenges your creativity, even though you're just working on something that probably most people would have thrown away. But I like that peekaboo there. And then when we open it, we'll have this. So it's a little bit like a tab, you know, to turn it. I guess what we could do is, at least for now, until I figure out really what I want to do, if I can get that in there, that might not work, is, was going to say maybe I could, let's see if I can get it in and get it rounded. Yeah, around a little bit, little crooked. But again, I could just take this lid, go around it with a pencil, and then take my scissors here and just gently, it's still a little damp from the glue, so I'm just kind of carving it. It's not wanting to cut very well. But I think that looks a little bit more finished, so at least we'll do that. Okay, and then what I want to do next is I want to put some pages in. I'm not really certain how I'm going to do it, or what. I mean, I know how ways I can do it. I just don't know what I want to do. So I have some paper here. I have a few things like this. If this was a little shorter, it could go in there. So we'll figure something out with that. Let's see. Here's an envelope. Let's try to do the majority with envelopes and papers with the envelopes. So let's take that out. Okay. So maybe what we could do is line that seam up. Is that what I want to do? So many choices. Nope, I don't think that's what I want to do. I think what I want to do is just put pages for now. And so what that'll look like is I'm going to get these pages out. And I'll probably collect a few more. And I'm just going to put them in here, and I'm going to use this. Let's see, which fold do I want to use? I think I'm going to use this fold here. And so what I think I'm going to do is, let's straighten this page up. Where's my ruler? You could cut it if you wanted to, but I think I'll straighten this page up. This is out of an old Greg typing book. You remember your typing lessons? I loved typing, but I had typing and then I had shorthand right after typing, or vice versa. Maybe I had shorthand and then typing. I can't remember. But the problem is when I was in high school in my senior year, I had 2 jobs after school. And so I was exhausted. And I always fell asleep in typing. And I felt really bad about it because I liked the class and I really liked the teacher. I just thought she was super nice. So I felt really bad because I felt like it was a little bit disrespectful. But to be honest with you, man, I was exhausted. So I didn't learn shorthand. I ended up dropping shorthand. I kept typing. I dropped shorthand. I wish I knew shorthand now because I'd be a decoder. You know, I could be a decoder if I did know shorthand. My mother-in-law writes and journals in shorthand, and I just think it's so cool. I'm going to use this catalog here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to score it. I noticed when I went on the other one that it kind of cracked when I went to bend it. So I think I'm going to just put a line through here. Just give it a little bit of help to not there. That's great, so that it doesn't crack. That's just an old, not an old magazine, a magazine that I picked up and is now old. I guess I picked it up in a free magazine in December. And I use it now to glue stuff with, glue stuff in and the like. Okay, so here's that shorthand. So somebody that knows shorthand will think this is pretty cool. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I'm just trying to even that up just a little bit. And then I'm just going to fold this one in half. This one's not as old of paper, so it didn't crack. Here's some more. Okay, so I'm not going to make a very long video, because what I'd like to do is kind of do this together. And so I would like to give you time to, you know, grab your envelopes and grab your papers that maybe you want to stick in, and maybe we could do it together. So I want to pause for, you know, some time to give you a chance to, you know, get your supplies and work on it yourself. Now, don't get frustrated. You're just going to glue a couple of envelopes together, and then we're going to decorate and do all kinds of fun stuff. And we'll add here and there. So basically what you start with is not, it doesn't guarantee that's what you're going to end with. We're going to add and add lots of space for you to write and really enjoy this journal. So once those pages are in, that'll go that way, then this way, and then that way. But I am going to add more pages in here. So maybe a few more pages in here, literally, that you would be able to write on that are blank. These are fun, though, to just run across, and you could always write around them. Or even here, I've journaled in between the spaces before, which is kind of fun to write in between the spaces. So, oh, that one did crack. Look at that. Okay, well, we'll use that for something else. Those little ducks are cute. We'll make a tag or something out of that. All right, so that's basically it for now. So basically what we did is we worked on mending this, kind of creating a little tab. We put in another reinforcement here, and we are gathering some papers to, you know, make our journal, start to build on our journal in that one signature. And then we also worked on this pocket and this page, so of this envelope. So anyways, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming to our little yellow house. I wish you were here in person. And I'd love it if you would subscribe to this channel to help us out. And if you would like the videos, please offer a comment, anything you want to see, any suggestions. Thank you everyone so much for your comments so far. And if you click on that bell, then you would be notified when we put another video up. But for now, that's it for today. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a different video, and maybe one continuing with this junk journal envelope journal. But I also have another idea I want to show you too. So tomorrow will be packed. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.